Okay, now we're recording. Sorry about that. So I apologize. So I'd like Peter to go ahead and maybe before Peter prays, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together because I know that we did not have a chance to walk through the agenda for the day. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just let you know, as soon as Peter is done praying, I'm going to invite him also to share with us a little bit about these sessions. I notice we have lots of people who are here for the very first time. Peter is I'm just noticing that I think Peter's labeling has changed. That is very interesting. Okay. I'm sorry for those who missed that. So we like to keep things light here. I was seeing Peter and I was seeing someone else's name, but we had just got a mismatch. Anyways, what I want us to do is Peter's going to pray for us. And as soon as he's done with the prayer, I want you to type amen in the chat. And then as soon as you're done with that, Peter will also go ahead and just give us a brief about why we do these sessions. Why are these sessions important? Okay, Peter is head non-financials at Corp Bank, so he's the best person to introduce this, and then just maybe to also let us know what else might be happening in the world of Corp Bank. Peter, let's pray, and then over to you again.
Thank you, Sam, and let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, this morning we want to thank you. We want to appreciate your goodness and your mercies. Thank you for this opportunity you've given us to have this session, this webinar session with our customers. As we learn, as we deliberate, we pray that you be together with us, you help us to understand, and you may help also customers' businesses to continue to thrive. Be with us. In Jesus' name, we do pray and give thanks. Thank
Peter,
you.
take it away. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Asanteni sana, our customers. Good to see you again today. Big numbers have already joined the sessions, and we are happy, super happy to see you and always to host you every Thursday at this particular time. As you have heard, I think this is part of what we do as a bank. We always meet here on Thursdays from 11 to 12:30 p.m. And we just have very good insights around us managing our businesses and trying to see how we want to take this business to the next level. So I think for us this session is to welcome you, all of you. We are happy to feel at home, and we're also glad to see you being part of the Corp Bank family. We really appreciate the fact that some of you or most of you are using our cooperative bank solutions and you are family members. We feel like we really need to appreciate you for being our family, part of our family. And again, I really also want to take this opportunity to really appreciate African Management Institute team, the AMI team, Sam Kinera here, and Fiona Maina being part of these sessions, adding a lot of value to our customers and the speakers that we've always had. We really appreciate it. And I can see a number of customers have already appreciated them through the clubs. Feel free to continue appreciating this team. For those who are joining us for this first session, I have seen quite a number of you indicating that you are joining for the first time. We do this just to make sure that we keep our customers or our business people learning and also very informative. So we do very good topics. And just to give a background is that these trainings or these webinars form part of what we call the non-financial services program for the bank, where we add skills and value to your businesses through the trainings. And we started in the month for this particular sessions or this particular webinar series. We started in the month of August last year, and we've had a training on finance. We had a whole month doing sales and marketing. We had a whole month doing business strategy. We had another whole month on operations. We have trained on people and leadership, legal and compliance, and this month we'll be focusing on wellness. And I think what we are doing today is just to equip ourselves on some more skills around wellness. So someone will be asking then, why do you do this? And just to alert us or let us know why we do this is just to, again, as I indicated, to see you do your businesses and do your businesses more professionally, and also make sure that then you have the necessary management skills that will drive your businesses to the next level. So we understand that, yes, you require the financial solutions, but you also require the non-financial solutions. And Core Bank MSME Webinars is part of that. We equip you with the skills that will help you to drive your business to the next level. And I think, again, we also encourage you to always be good friends and good partners with our business relationship managers and our branch managers across our network, so that then they are also able to identify your needs and they give you the solutions that you always need. And so please feel free to always engage, have a very good relationship with your business banker in our branches. Now, today we are here talking about wellness, and in particular, we're talking about the power of family wellness for entrepreneurial success. This is to help us, again, manage ourselves, manage our families, and so that as we do business, we have the peace of mind and we have the support that we need from our families, so that then we are able also to grow and also to drive our businesses well. So let's engage, let's continue to participate, let's continue to chat. We are here to respond to the questions that you have. So just one announcement and reminder: if you are around Mombasa Road, you business around that area, and you do exports, you do imports, or you in logistics, you do clearing and forwarding, we have a breakfast forum for you, a physical forum at Kadari Hotel next week on 23rd of May, from 7:30 to 10:30. We'll be having some physical interactions, and we'll be having some industry experts who are going to share with us some of the skills that we require even as we do that particular business. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome you officially. If you are around that area, please, let's visit, let's meet there, and let's also learn through a physical interaction. I know a number of us we've not met, but this would be a good opportunity for us to meet and also to learn from each other. So with those remarks, Sam, I want to hand over this meeting back to you so that then you can continue with the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's Peter, head non-financials, and he's one of the people who are behind the sessions. Okay, so Peter, we appreciate you and thank you. Please, a bit of a clap for Peter. I want to see some emojis going and some appreciation going. There you go. Thank you so much, Peter. All right, so we've heard from Peter. Yes, there you go. Peter from the COP side. I'll just let you know. So this is a collaboration between COP Bank and AMI. So two organizations coming together and why we come together is because we have the entrepreneur at heart and want to make sure that you are thriving. Okay, so I'm on the AMI side and I want to let you know a little bit about AMI. So AMI is African Management Institute. What do we do? In short, we're all about enabling ambitious entrepreneurs and businesses like you across Africa to thrive. How do we do it? We do it by making sure you have the tools that you need, okay, to run the business that you see. Okay, the business that you want to see, we make sure. So you dream it, make sure we get you the wheels so you can drive to your dream. Okay, so we do that by doing practical training programs for businesses. So we have presence in about 39 countries, especially with that digital platforms. So that's how far we've been able to reach, and we're super proud of that. We also have reached about 42,000 people in terms of training. Lots of content in 5 languages. So sometimes I forget the others. So it's English, Swahili, French, I think it's Kinyarwanda as well. And I think I forget the other one, but across different countries. And so we love that we're being able to reach the entrepreneurs across Africa and being able to help them to move forward. So that's what we want to do. We do that by providing practical tools, and so many courses are also online. In fact, today, the opportunity is back. So you haven't been seeing that for a few weeks, but right now it's back. So if you're interested in taking your business to the next level with AMI's Practical Business Learning Program, this is called GYB. So grow your business. So we are in the last, I think it's the last couple of days or last weeks of the intake for this. If you're in Kenya, and we know you are, it's a virtual program, so it's not taking you away from your work. So you can do, it's easy paced, so you can do it while acting on your business and doing what you need to do. The link will be, let me just double check that you have that. Yes, the link is in the chat. So you can apply today. There's also opportunity for full scholarships. So we like to share opportunities here, and that's something that we wanted to let you know it is available for you. Okay, every now and then it is available. Sometimes it's not, but right now it's back. So we hope that you can leverage and maximize on that, right? The person to reach out to, if you prefer to make a call, because it might be a bit urgent for you, there's a number on the screen. You can take a screenshot or you can write down the number. If you want to send an email to harold@freetimemanagers.org. Okay, please type a yes if you've gotten that information, then that will let me know. We can then move to the subject of the day. Type a yes in the chat. Okay, David, Christine, thank you. I'll take it. Those two will represent most of us. So look into that. You can also read a bit about it online. So you just use the link. Okay, good. So we are coming back to this subject of the power of family wellness for entrepreneurial success. Okay, we are working hard. You're hoping that someday you pass on your business to your family. Or maybe if you're not dreaming as far as passing on your business to your family, at least while the business is existing, you're hoping that it will be a conduit or a vehicle that you can use to raise the finances that you need to help the family grow, to help the family stabilize, to provide a backbone financially. Okay, so that's what it's all about. So then we realize it's not about money, it's about why we do it. Who are we doing it for our families? Okay, by and large, it's for our families. Most people wouldn't say, I'm doing it alone, and as soon as I die, I hope they bury me with all my wealth and I go with it. Because we are not taking anything anywhere. Okay, now as we talked through that, we realize it's really important, this aspect of mental health. We need someone to come in here and talk to us about, okay, so I'm running my business. Maybe my business is being successful, but at home, I may be having a bit of a dynamic. Okay, so we are trying to push our potential to make sure we maximize ourselves, trying to maximize every opportunity that we get. But then now we need to also think back, okay, so while I'm running forward on this, how is family doing? How are we doing at home? If I'm married, how is my marriage? If I have children, how are those doing? Okay, if I have teenagers, for those who have teenagers, we had a discussion this morning and someone said, most people say, can I give you my teenager? Can I donate my teenager to you and you bring them back when they're 20-something? But there's ways to work around, okay? And it's important that we make room for that discussion. So to get us started, before I maybe introduce the speaker, I want to set up just 3 quick questions by way of poll, okay? By way of a poll. I want you to let me know how you feel you're doing in 3 pillars. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about your potential right now? Are you living up to your potential? 1 being low, 10 being extremely 100%. Then the second question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate how you handle stress? How well do you handle stress? 1 being, I don't handle it well. 10 being, oh, I'm really good at this. And I've learned, I figured it out. Okay. And then number 3, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your productivity? So your level of productivity, how good are you feeling about that on a level of 1 to 10? The reason we ask for this is because we want to use this same information to be able to direct, to guide perhaps Lynette's conversation. Lynette is a clinical psychologist, and I will be letting you know a bit more about what she does and how we're going to be benefiting from her today. For now, I'll give you just a few more seconds, maybe 30 more seconds. Please respond to the poll, and I'll share the results here so you can all see. Very good. If you haven't responded, I am waiting for you. It's you I'm waiting for. We want to make sure that we have enough information to work with even as we have this conversation. And it will be useful to know because this is the first bit of it. Okay. How do you feel about your potential, your productivity, and also how you handle stress? Okay. I should let you know that our intention is to provide you the tools that you need. So even a reference to framework you can use in order to help you to find that balance that you're looking for in life, even as you strive to succeed in your business. Okay. Just a few more seconds. I think we'll count it down from 10. Here you go. Okay, let me go ahead and end the poll here. So based on the read we've got in terms of the population, let me show you what we have. So if you're looking at your screen, you should be able to see these results. So most of us, when it comes to potential, most of us are at 5 and 6. Okay, just going by the general numbers. Then when it comes to handling stress, most of us are at 6 and 8. Some of us are feeling very confident, but we know we have quite a number of people who are not feeling that confident. And then also when it comes to the productivity, most of us are 5, 6, 7, thereabouts. Okay, let me stop sharing that. Later on, I will be bringing in another poll that can help us to perhaps anchor even more towards the conversation. Okay, but for now, I'd like to introduce you to our speaker. We have Lynette Mwende. I think she's going to be coming onto video shortly. Lynette Mwende is, let me just see. Yes, there you are. Hey, good to see you, Lynette.
Jambo Sam.
Yes, Lynette, amongst many things, she runs a podcast, and earlier this morning I was listening. So I feel like it's like podcast is so conversational and so lighthearted. I feel like I've just been having a whole conversation with her the whole morning. So it's really good to see you here.
Thank you for having me.
I'll do a quick read of Lynette's bio just so you get an understanding of where she's coming from. She's big on clarity. So Lynette's mission is she spent her life using her personal and career experiences to help clients and those around her to find safe spaces. So 2 keywords that are really important to Lynette: safe spaces. And the result of that should be that people can be seen and they can show up as their authentic self. That's really important. Her passion, and she's been in psychology for close to a decade now, and is passionate about working with women and teenagers especially. So family structure is very core, and she values mentorship and accountability because she acknowledges that she is the product of others who have done the same for her. Okay. Now, when it comes to her training and her accolades, I was reading through and I said, wow, when did Lynette get 2 master's degrees? What happened here? Okay. She has a master's in counseling psychology and is also has another master's in management and leadership from the Management University of Africa, but is also pursuing a doctorate degree in clinical psychology. Also has a higher diploma in human resource from the Institute of HR Management. So she's the person who knows what she's talking about. She's not just coming from the clinical psychology side. She also knows about leadership, also knows about management, and it comes together in her passion to see people find a safe space so they can be their authentic self. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me. A round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Keep that going. Round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Keep that coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lynette Mwende. Good to see you, Lynette. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Sam, you're speaking and I'm like, are you talking about me? You know, you're hyping me up. I'm like, who's that? I even am eagerly anticipating this presentation. But yes, I'm happy to be here and excited to have this conversation today.
Very good. Lynette, let me ask you a question. Where does this love for people and wanting them to find their authentic self come from? Seems to be so core to you.
Yes. I think for me, I'm a firstborn, and from a very young age, I realized people trust my face. So even when I was young, people would come and tell me things, and I'm like, oh my God, you're older than me. You're our house help. You're our watchman. You're our teacher. Why are you telling me as a child all these things? Then I realized we don't have enough spaces where people are allowed to come as they are because we fear being judged and so many of those things. So I think after that, I was like, my mission is to make safe spaces for people to show up as their authentic self.
And then this management and leadership, is that all tied together?
Yes. I can say when I started out, I did not start out to do 2 masters. Life just happened.
And two diplomas and all these things.
No, Aki, you're making me sound too serious.
We have, all of us have 24 hours, and you have 4 clear, massive accolades. We don't know where you get the time, but we applaud you.
So I think for me, I also wanted to understand, not just from a psychological perspective, but even in the workplace, are we able to show up authentically, and can managers and leaders provide that environment so that we can thrive? Because when people feel like you care and they can be who they are, they're able to do better. Yes.
Okay. Now, one more question, then I'll give some general guidelines for everyone. Mental health. This is Mental Health Month. We've been here. This is our 3rd or 4th session. Got an introduction to it. How did you get into mental health, and how important is mental health for the business person, for the entrepreneur, especially in connection to their family wellness?
That's a fantastic question. Let me just start. I know I'm preempting my presentation, but let me just distinguish the difference between mental health and mental illness, because I feel like in Kenya, we've started this catchphrase of saying, "Uyo ako na mambo ya mental health." And I'm like, so kama ako na mental health, see, that's a good thing. So most of us, when we hear the word mental health, we think of illness, but those are 2 very different things. Health is afya, wellness, and then illness is ugonjwa. So for me, I feel like especially after COVID is when people have started realizing, oh, there's another component to health. It's not just fitness, lungs, brain, not just your physical health, but there's another hidden aspect to it that maybe we've, for a long time in Kenya, we thought hizi ni shida za wazungu, that maybe we're also in it. So I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Okay, very good. So here's what's going to happen. Sorry about that. Can you hear me, Lynette?
Yeah.
Okay, I think my line was cutting. So just some general directions for the next, yes, Athanas, I see that. I hope it's clear now. So for the next 30 minutes, we'll have a conversation with Lynette. She'll take 15 minutes and have a short presentation about mental well-being and some of the things that we brought to her attention as that's important to us from your side. But also, Mr. Josephat, don't worry, she's coming in with the responses. So we'll have 15 minutes of a presentation and then 15 minutes of a Q&A. At any point, if you have a question, please put it in the chat or the Q&A. Please don't wait for the last 2 minutes, because then I'll have to fast forward and then we'll move to the next thing. So as soon as the question comes in, put it in. The other thing I wanted to put as a wonderful disclaimer is, so as you can tell, Lynette Mwende is very learned, but she has 2 approaches she can use. She can come with the Cambridge English, or she can just come and we have a simple conversation. So she said, which one do you want? Me, I can come with the, and we said, you know what? I think we prefer let's sit down and talk about this, because let's not pretend to be high and all that. Let's sit down, have a conversation. If I'm having a challenge at home, how does that affect my business? We want to get answers so we can build our lives, not with the Cambridge English will come in later, the next webinar. For this one, we just want a laid-back Lynette having conversation. Please clap if you're up for that. Please clap if you're up for that, so that next time when you find Lynette speaking pure Queen's English, you're not wondering, who is this one now? She has just switched the approach. We insisted, we want the other one. Okay, Lynette, I'm handing it over to you. You go ahead and share your slides. 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, I'll come back and we have a back and forth conversation.
Fantastic. I want to just share my screen. Have I been given the permission to share my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Can everyone see the screen?
It's perfect.
Okay, fantastic. So as I've mentioned, we're talking about the power of wellness and we'll focus on family. So I saw someone asking, what is mental illness? What is mental health? I won't touch too much on illness today, but we'll focus on health. So what is mental health? When we talk about health, afya, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, we look at 3 parameters. And if you see these parameters are looking familiar, this is what we were asking you in the poll. The first question it asks is, you as an individual, are you able to realize your own potential? And I can make an assumption and saying, if you're doing a business, you're doing a business because you believed you could solve a need or meet something. So there's some potential you saw and you decided to pursue that business. I'm hoping that's the case. So that one, I'm assuming in this community, most of us are somewhere there. The second parameter we look at is, can you cope with normal life stressors? And hapa ndio kizungumkuti. Here is where all the problems lie. And I'll focus a lot on this. Although I saw in the poll people saying they are handling stress 6, 7, 8. I was like, wow, must be nice. But we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And the last parameter we look at is, are you able to work productively and fruitfully and make a contribution to your community? So basically, if you forget everything I said about mental health, the 3 parameters we focus on when we're talking about mental health, afya, is 1, can you realize your own potential? Hata niongeze hapo, are you living up to it? 2, can you cope with normal life stressors? Newsflash for people who didn't know, stress is a normal part of life. So if you are experiencing stress, newsflash, you're human, but imefika mali stress inakulemea ama you're coping with it. And finally, are you able to work productively and fruitfully? Maybe some of you have just realized that anytime you hear the conversation on mental health, you think this is not about me. But now you're like, Allah, kumbe, I also fall into that category. So what are the areas of wellness I'll touch on? So I'll mention the 8 areas of wellness, but then I'll talk about family as we go step by step. So the first area of wellness we look at, to ask yourself, are you realizing your potential in this area? Are you coping with the stresses in this area? And are you being productive in these areas? The first one we'll talk about is physical. So your physical well-being is important. All the dreams, goals, and ambitions you have for your company, for your business, you have to be there, or it's this body that will enable you to reach there. So we need to take care of our physical health. We know we need to eat well. We know we need to do exercise. We even know we need to do medical checkups. But najua Kenyans tunasemanga kama hakuna shida mbona naenda kujitafutia mashida. And for me, I always hear, when someone says that, I always wonder if we are afraid to check on our physical health, sembuse mental health. And why is this a parameter? If your physical health is not okay, or a member of your family's physical health is not okay, do you think it will affect the wellness of that family? Of course, especially in this Kenyan system, medical bills are so expensive. And I was even reading an article that was saying illness can finish a generation, generation's wealth just by taking care of especially the terminal and long-term illnesses. So I won't focus too much on that. Let's talk about the social aspect. So in the social aspect, here I'm talking about your relationship with others. So if you're single, this is your relationship with your friends, your family. If you're married or in a relationship, this is your relationship with your significant other. If you have children, this is your relationship with your significant other, as well as your children, and even your parents. They also fall under social relationships. And here I want to talk about something and say that human beings are social beings, and we know this. This is why we say, oh, no man is an island, and we usually say all these things. But how does this tie into our mental health? We all need people we can talk to, people who will be honest with us, and also people who will be in our corner and give us encouragement. So for me, I usually ask people, and you can ask this to yourself, who is your safe space? Who is someone you know leo biashara ikiwa mbaya, you'd go umwambie, hey, leo kulikuwa kubaya, and they tell you, usijali, kesho ni siku ingine, ama kama ulisurvive COVID, hii ni nini, you know, who is your safe space? 2, mental. Let me talk about mental, your thought processes and everything. in psychology, the three things that are so significant and can even lead to mental illness, what an preemptive, or when someone asks that question, I'll expound on it more, is your thoughts, your feelings, and behavior. You've heard we do a podcast. If you check out our podcast on all platforms, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the things. We are not on YouTube. We're just on podcasting platforms. Our first episode is called the 2-second interaction. And let me just preempt it and say that in everything that happens in our lives, we have thoughts, we have feelings, and we have behaviors about it. So for example, some of you might see me here and be like, oh, Lynette, she looks friendly, she looks warm. Then you reach out to me on my contact, because you will get the contact at the end of this. And when you call me, you go like, hello, and you hear a very cold hello, and you go like, hey, she seemed so warm, she seemed so, and I thought I could tell her my problems. Why is she sounding so cold? Then you tell yourself she was pretending, maybe she's not that nini. Then if I call you, if I go like, who am I speaking to? And you identify yourself properly, now I become warmer. And I'm like, oh, you attended the seminar or the webinar by COP. Wow, tell me more. And then you go like, okay, wait, maybe she was not cold. Maybe I hadn't properly introduced myself and all that. So you notice in that 2 seconds, when you said hello and you told yourself I'm cold, you had thoughts about it. There's a thought that crossed your mind. Did I make a mistake? Is she the right person to talk to? Is she? You had feelings about it. By the time you dialed that number, you were excited to call. There's a reason that had made you want us to have that conversation. But when you received a cold response, you started having feelings like, did I make a mistake? Is this the right person? So behavior might be, you can hang up, you can look for someone else. But usually our thought processes inform our perception of the world, but they're not based on fact. So until I ask like, who am I speaking to? And then we get to have a conversation, you realize you are making judgments without the full information. How does this apply to our families? When we come home at the end of the day, human beings are very good at sensing other people's emotions. If anything, especially if you have children are so good at sensing your emotions. That's when they know, leo tunaweza omba baba ama mama pesa. Leo ni kubaya, hiyo mlango venye ilibangiwa ama hiyo gari venye ilipakiwa, everyone scatter. Hata usimwambie mambo ya results. We're very intuitive into sensing other people's feelings. So feelings, I like telling people, are not fact, but are feedback. So imagine if your customers are giving you feedback and you're not implementing it. Will you succeed? You will not. So in the same way, when our body gives us feelings or we produce feelings, it's telling us feedback, which is information. If we utilize it properly, we're able to succeed. So when you have a bad day at work, I'm still at mental and emotional. I'm building those two. So you find that if something happens at work that you feel upset in your business, you're upset, things are not going your way, and you come home frustrated, and you're met with an angry toddler screaming their lungs out. When you look at them, you'll smile and be like, sasa toto, ama utakwa like, nyamaza, sitaki kusikia makelele. That's usually how we react. And at that point, I would ask, when you're shouting, who are you shouting at? Are you shouting at the child? Or are you unleashing feelings and frustrations you've been feeling all the whole day to someone who is not deserving? That child did not deserve that response. And this is the difference that comes in between responding and reacting. When it comes to family, a reaction is automatic. You don't think about it. The toddler comes, you are angry, you shout. Your employee comes in, they broke something, you shout. That's a reaction. A response is, I'm feeling annoyed and irritated. And this is a feedback I'm getting. This irritation, is it about the child? Is it about the employee? Or is it about my own personal feelings about my business and all the other things I'm doing? And at the end of this presentation, I'll show you how to get a mindful moment to just anchor yourself and go like, oh, let me take a moment to pause and experience this feeling so that I can respond instead of dumping my energy, my nini onto someone else. Higher. Then we have spiritual. You find that most of the time we have spiritual, this can be your beliefs, this can be your religion, your creed, the code you live by. But I've realized most of the time, that the code we live by or how we define ourselves is not how the world looks at us. I wish we had more time, we would have done the Johari window exercise, and I'm sure maybe you've done it. I'm seeing Upper AMI are very sharp and they're doing a very good job. Maybe they've done it with you. You find that when most of the time, people, how they define themselves and how their families or even their colleagues define them is very different. So you might find someone saying, me, I'm so warm and welcoming and everything. And then you ask your children, they're like, wewe ni stima, live wire, you cannot be approached and everything. Where does that disconnect comes in? There's how we think we are, what our beliefs are, how we think, like when we die, what will be written on our tombstone, what our life motto was. But if we are not intentional about putting that in the forefront and consciously working at it daily, those things don't translate even to our families. We don't pass those, even those beliefs, those values onto our families. When it comes to children, especially, I say, when it comes to children, behaviors are caught like this with the eyes and not with the ears. So ukiwa hapo unaambia watu usifanye hivi ama fanya venye nasema si venye nafanya, you're speaking on deaf ears. We model, we pick up behavior with our eyes and not what we hear. So financially, I feel like you're in the right place. COP will talk about finances, occupation, and career. I won't dive into that, but those are also aspects. And then surrounding, do you care about your environment? I know right now there's a lot of talk about global warming, planting trees, and all these things being sustainable. So these are the areas of wellness. However, some of you are thinking, oh my goodness, we were coming. I know last week you talked about balance. So some of you might be thinking, gosh, we need to look at all these 8 areas, all these 8 sectors of our lives and be perfect. Not exactly. So you see, I don't know if I can you see where I'm making the markings?
Yes, we can, perfectly.
Okay, so if you imagine this inner circle is 0 and the outer circle is 10, think about this as a scale of 1 to 10, right? So notice the 8 aspects I've just talked about. If you were to rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank yourself spiritually? And this is a very perceptive, a very personal question. So some of you might say, spiritually, maybe I rank a 5. That's middle. Someone emotionally, they'll say a 2, because that I didn't know we have thoughts affect our feelings and behavior. Occupationally, maybe you're doing well, you'll do a 7. Mentally, maybe some of you hata mko mnajua mambo ya mental health, wacha tuweke 5. Environmentally, you're very environmentally conscious. In fact, this year you've planted so many trees. Financially, you're in a COP seminar, you're doing fantastic. Apata, you've made your quarter targets before the year is done, even half the year is done. Socially, maybe you're not doing as well. Physically, ulienda gym the first month. So this is the wheel, for example. So if we were to link, I'll send you the PDF so you can do it yourself. I'm just showing you how to do it. So when you link your wheel of balance, you find that you've gone from having a functioning wheel, which if you were to roll it, it would have rolled, to having, what is this? A trapezium. It's a hexagon. If this hexagon was a tire that was right on your car, would you move? You get what I mean? So most of us, when we look at this, you find that this wheel does not move. But I'm not here to give you pressure and tell you, oh, you're doing badly and everything. My trick is you can focus on 3 things. Focus on 3 things that you are consciously working on. You can focus on the self, the family, and work. What does that mean? In the self, for example, if this year you are expectant, let's say you're a lady, you're expectant. So yourself, you can't be going to the gym. You can't be going to the gym because you might not be your weight goals because you're carrying a whole human in your life. So in terms of physical, you won't be able to achieve those goals. But you can say in terms of nutrition, I want to focus on myself and that also family. For work, you can say, I know I'm about to go on maternity, so I need to maybe start slowing down or finding someone to do transitioning. So that way, you know, you might not meet your highest targets this year, because of what is happening within your body, but now you know after this is what I need to be consciously thinking about. What happens is if we don't pick 3 areas where we are actively thinking about, we feel like we're constantly failing at everything, right? You might know you're expectant, but you're still expecting yourself to be on a diet, to be catwalking, to be, you get what I mean? And you feel like, oh, I'm failing. Why did I go back to school? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I? And in reality, you're just giving yourself more mental load. Yet, if you pick one aspect that has to do with the self, something about you, it can be your health, your nutrition, your relationship with God, your spiritual self, something to do with you, something to do with someone else. That's what I'm saying, family. This can be your significant other, your children, your friends, your parents, something to do outside yourself. Because if you're overly consumed with yourself, you can tend to be depressed and withdrawn, and we don't want that. So we also need something for others. And then the last part for work is something to be productive, something you're doing with your hands, something you can do, and it brings you fulfillment. So as I wind up, the last thing I'll just talk about is mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Msiseme Linet alikuja hapa akatuambia mashida na hakutupea solutions. One of the things I really enjoy doing in my practice is something we call mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the act of paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment, right? Paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. Some of you might think, oh, because I'm working so hard to leave a legacy for my children, I don't spend as much time with them, so I'm a bad parent, or that's not the case. If you have 30 minutes, you've come home and you have 30 minutes with your children, be present, paying attention, be present with them. Most of us are not present because you're here, but you're thinking, kesho tutakula nini? Huyo mtu alilipa, hey nini? You're not here. Mindfulness is about anchoring here. Like, hi, tuko hapa. Here, we are in this moment, paying attention. You have to be intentional and say on purpose in the present moment and without judgment. Meaning when you're with your children, when you're with your spouse, when you're with your significant other, and you find your mind wandering like, deadline sijafika, tell your mind, that's okay. Let's focus back on task. That's okay. Let's focus back on task. So let me show you a 1-minute video and then we can wind up there. Hey, time imekimbia. So I hope it will play. Let's see if it will play.
Training the mind is often quite different to how people imagine it.
Can you hear?
Maybe they have an idea it's about stopping thoughts or eliminating feelings.
Could you start it again?
But the reality...
Okay, let me just...
Training the mind is often quite different to how people imagine it to be. Maybe they have an idea it's about stopping thoughts or eliminating feelings. But the reality is a bit different. An easy way to think of it is to imagine yourself sitting on the side of a busy road, the passing cars representing the thoughts and the feelings. All you have to do is to sit there and watch the cars. Sounds easy, right? But what usually happens is that we feel a bit unsettled by the movement of the traffic. So we run out into the road and try and stop the cars, or maybe even chase after a few, forgetting that the idea was to just sit here. And of course, all of this running around only adds to the feeling of restlessness in the mind. So training the mind is about changing our relationship with the passing thoughts and feelings, learning how to view them with a little more perspective. And when we do this, we naturally find a place of calm. Will we sometimes forget the idea of the exercise and become distracted? Of course we will. But as soon as we remember, here we are, back on the side of the road again, just watching the traffic go by, perfectly at ease in both body and mind.
Thank you.
Wow. So we did promise that we would give the right person for this session. I think the last 20 or so minutes give us some proof of that. Please, let's appreciate Lynette, please. Wow. Okay. Lynette, yes, lots of appreciation coming up. That was an intense, like 15, 20 minutes of like really good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to jump straight into some questions, but maybe before I jump into that, I'm just curious. The one question that came to my mind is like, how I know I need to just watch these thoughts, but as an entrepreneur, there's pressure, there's a talent employees I need to deal with at work. the season is not doing well. Like, how do you actually manage to sit at the side of the road and say, okay, especially when you go home? How do you say, tuko hapa? How? Please. I'm sure someone else is asking the same question.
I love that question so much. Can we do that at the last 2 minutes? Whoever is the moderator, ask me the last 2 minutes. I'll show you.
Okay.
The last 2 minutes. I want us to end relaxed. So
to end relaxed.
The last
okay.
2 minutes, I'll show you how we do something we call mindful breathing. So it's something it's as simple as breathing. We think we breathe every day, but mindful, remember, it's paying attention on purpose. So intentionally telling your brain, hi, we're about to take a few minutes to focus on our breathing. What that does is our brain likes doing. Our brain is a doer. So if you just sit, your brain will look for activities. And many people get fixated either on the past, which can lead to depressive tendencies, because the truth is you can never fix the past. And other people get fixated on the future, which can lead to anxiety tendencies. And the truth is, no matter how much we want to plan, we can never really have full control over the future. So mindfulness is being like, hold up, stop the past, stop the future. We are here because this is where change and things can actually be done.
I love that. Let me write that down. In the last 2 minutes, we are getting a trick that is going to solve all our problems for 2020.
Yeah, but yeah.
At least a good place to get started. Okay, so there's some questions. I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to give Lynette a moment to breathe mindfully. So just look through the chat. There's some questions and the Q&A. And while she's doing that, I'm going to invite the rest of us to respond to this poll that I'm going to have. So it's 3 quick questions, and it's about our family and home. So about family wellness. Okay. So do give me your response. In the first question we want to ask, this is just to give context to where we are in this conversation about family wellness for the next 10 or so minutes. 1, what's your current living status? Are you living alone or are you living with dependents? 2, what's your marital status, married or unmarried? Believe me or not, these are very important when it comes to our wellness in the home, okay? And then lastly, we know that we have parents here, we know that we have guardians here. What's the age group of dependents that you have? And it also comes in like, do you have children, or are they teenagers? Are they adults? Are they elderly folk? And Lynette is going to help us from her experience how this perhaps the situation at home can affect the business side, but also what things can we do? Okay, what can we do if I'm dealing with mostly children and I'm having challenges there? How can I respond? Teenagers and all that. Okay, so I'm going to count it down: 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to end the poll now. I'm sorry if you're still responding, just because of time, we have to be a bit nudgy on the time. So Lynette, tell me, what question are you seeing that you want to start with? I know we don't have enough time to do everything, so help me pick which one do you want to start with, a quick comment on. Then we'll get to the poll.
There are so many good questions. I'm seeing questions a lot to do with family. So there's one that was asking like what to watch out for, like warning signs, especially for children. Another question was, I saw something on children.
We could take 2. Let's start with children, and maybe there was one on trauma.
On trauma. If you see a question, I feel like ask it back to me in case I missed it.
Okay.
So that my mind can process.
No,
okay.
Let's start with children.
Let me start by saying that there's no shame in taking to your child to a therapist or a psychologist. I feel like in the African society, there's a lot of stigma. Even my clients who are children, I don't know if you had some say, I personally love working with teenagers. They're the most honest people.
Take your children to Lynette.
Because teenagers, once they trust you, the thing about teenagers is trust. Once they trust you, they'll tell you everything. But if they don't, they shut you out. And most teenagers shut their parents out for mistrust and misinformation that they did when they were younger. So when a child is below the age of 7, the parent is the biggest source of information, and the person who shapes their whole world. That's why wakichapana kwa field wanasemanga nitaita babangu because yeye ndio Superman. Akikuja hapo atachapa kila mtu ama atakwambia mami alisema, because they trust your word wholeheartedly. However, if you have lied, especially significant lies that they have defended in front of other children, wakisema mimi mamangu aliniambia watoto wananunuliwa kwa supermarket, and they said that in front of class and everyone laughed, they go like, oh my gosh, you are a liar. So in teenagehood, when they come, they don't trust you to give them good information, especially if you go like, wachana na pombe, and they see you drinking. Wachana na hii, and they see you. Kwanza teenagers are the most justice-oriented people. So if you say one thing and do another thing, they discredit you immediately. So what can you do? For children, as well as for adults, for me, I always say, if you suspect there's a problem, take for assessment. There's no shame in going. The same way, if you see your child with a stomachache, kuna ile utasema, wacha ameze hii, na hii ingine utasema, huyu tumkimbize hospitali. So when you think you should take them to a professional, you should take them to a professional. That's one. Two, sometimes people come to us not because they have mental illnesses. Notice we didn't get a chance to talk about that. Maybe we can talk about that another day. Where sometimes it's not because they have mental illnesses. Sometimes it's because they're having adjustment issues. And adjustment issues is a normal part of life. For you, if you change a job, if you get a spouse, if you get another child, you will have adjustment issues. So especially for children, if all these changes are happening and they're feeling a lot of uncertainty, sometimes they might just need someone to help them navigate through that. So I don't know if I've answered. I can't give warning signs because sometimes with children, like if I tell you if they're hyper, how do you know what is the normal measurement of hyperness and not? So
energy may be different.
Yeah, I know we have a way of wanting to assess ourselves. Let's not. Even for WebMD, don't go Google your symptoms. You don't know how many times people come and tell me, Mimi, I have bipolar. And I'm like, who diagnosed you? You don't go to a doctor
WebMD.
and tell them. Yeah, you don't go to a doctor and tell
Google
them,
is
Mimi,
not
I have
your
pneumonia.
doctor.
You can't walk to a doctor and say, I have pneumonia. So the same way. And there's no shame in that. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent.
Okay, how do you, quick one, Hillary, asking, how can you deal with the fact that you are happy with the job, but not at harmony with the environment that you're in? How does that, there's a tension there?
That's a very good question. So you find that when we are navigating life, we have two kinds of environment. We have our internal environment and we have our external environment. Most of the time, the only control you have over is your internal environment and not your external environment. But a lot of time, we want to put in a lot of energy and efforts in changing our external environment. And this goes for a workplace, goes for a spouse, goes for a child. And the truth is, in most cases, we cannot do much about it. So for me, I would be like, what can you do within yourself? What are you noticing as triggers? What are you noticing as people who are draining your energy? What are you noticing as things that are depleting you? And how can you find spaces of nourishing, safe spaces, places of, replenishing your energy within yourself, not within the environment? I know I've answered generally, but that is usually a good trick.
Okay, right. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to invite you now to give me some thoughts on the poll. So you can see the poll, the results there. About 80% of us here are living with dependents. About 65% of us are married, 35% unmarried. And a bunch of us, most of us, almost all of us are taking care of different age groups. What is the impact of this on family, on business, and vice versa? What's your comment?
This is a very revealing thing. So most of us tend to give the world our best and our families the worst. Think about it.
Oh, wait. First, go back a bit. Hey, Lynette. Wow.
It's true. Who do you wear your makeup for?
I wasn't ready.
Tie the tie
I was not ready for that one.
No, think about it. Who do you wear makeup for, wear your suit for, wear your good cologne for? We do it for the world. And then we come back home after being beaten and ridiculed and suffocated by the world, and air out our frustrations on the people who should be our safe spaces. So one of the things you can do just before you get home with all the heavy baggage and you can do the mindfulness I will show you in a minute to re-anchor yourself and tell yourself, I want to be intentional and present in this moment as I walk into this door to my family. I want to also listen and see their smells. Let me tell you, when you're mindful, after we do the exercise, maybe you can tell me your brain resets and colors seem brighter, smells seem heavier, like you feel like a reset of clarity. And to the people around us, let us be kind and direct. This is something we don't do in Kenya. Direct means if everyone told me you're not a good therapist, you didn't even do a good job, like you went over time and all the things, and I'm feeling like, oh my God, I suck. When I come home, will I come and ask my spouse or my family, you guys, am I a good therapist? I'll come like, you guys don't even appreciate me. That's what we do. We come and be like,
we're looking at you like, what did we do? I'm like, what happened to mommy? She was happy in the morning. The children blame themselves.
Exactly. However, if we were to communicate our needs, being like, today was a really difficult day, and I really just want someone to affirm that I'm brilliant, that I'm doing a good job. Imagine if you tell your family that, they will do it. They won't go like, hapa unatafuta upendo, kila saa unataka kuambiwa good words. Most of the time, they will do it, but it's so scary and vulnerable to say it. So that's the problem. We never say it. We never say like, I don't know if I'll make it in this business. I don't know if I'm on the right track. I don't know. And when you say that, say what you want them to do. Don't say, I don't know if I'm good at business, and then wait for them to read your mind that you want them to say good job. No. Then tell them, please tell me something nice. Please do this please. And most of the time, our family will actually do it. But most of the time, if we expect them to read our minds, they get the reactions of the stresses of the world and our insecurities, which we shoot them on them because they're the nearest targets.
Wow. I think what you just said was worth the whole experience. Okay, so we have 3 minutes. I have to fast forward. I need you to talk to me about children. I know you've mentioned a bit, but 40% of us have children below 12. What do we need to look out for, or what do we need to be mindful about so that we don't affect their mental health a certain way? Quick tips for children, then teenagers, then adults. Yeah.
Quick tips. If you have children, you are in the luckiest space because they still trust you and you have their ear. They see you as a superhuman. Number one, give them unconditional positive regard. Let them know that even when the world is not sure about them, you're sure about them. Most of the time, we tie our children's worth to their performance or to how they listen or how they nini. And how you message things is important. If you tell a child, wewe ni mbaya versus umefanya kitu kibaya, those are very different messages. Ukimwambia wewe ni mbaya, it means hata hiyo nywele ina grow kwa nywele yako, kwa kichwa yako, hata hiyo hewa unapumua is bad. And that's a hopeless place. Remember, you are their demigod. What you said is law. So if you tell them they are bad, they will believe you. But if you tell them you have done something bad, they're able to recognize that they have the power to change the things, but not until they're doomed. So for me, tell them you care about them, tell them you believe and trust in them, give them the unconditional positive regard. Notice I've not said do not discipline them, do not correct them, do not do those things, but let them know that no matter what happens, home is a safe space for me. If you have teenagers, you have teenagers, I know unaambiwanga be your teenager's friend. Let me tell you, according to evolution, teenagers' minds are the most erratic people in human history. There was a study that was done, and all people from ages 5 to 95 were told, this swimming pool has a shark. Will you enter? And all the ages said, no, 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 no. And teenagers, people between
said,
13 and
how
19
big is
said,
the
who
shark?
said there's a shark? How
Who
big is the
said?
shark? Have
Have
you
you ever
seen the
seen the
shark?
shark?
So teenagers, watchana now, you cannot reason with them. This is the trick
Ah.
of dealing with teenagers. Be honest. Be honest with them,
Okay.
and then find people you trust to
Right.
be their mentors and to speak to them, because teenagers don't hear their parents. Evolutionary, we were designed so that when we reach teenagehood, we can leave the home and go explore so that our species don't die out. So you will say something and their aunt or their cousin will say something and they'll be like, my aunt is so brilliant. And
My
it's the
teacher
same thing
said.
you've been saying. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what do we do with them?
Or what do you do? That's what I'm saying. Find mentors or people you know.
Or find influencers that can. Okay, all right. Okay, talk to me. 41% of us have adults depending on us. Sorry, I'm stretching the time as well, so it's my fault.
Okay.
What do we do?
Adults are different. If you're a parent of an adult, you need to understand this is an adult. I know in African setting, we call like my house, my rules. If you don't allow an adult to make decisions, and I'm not saying tolerate wrong decisions, we can have a whole conversation about boundaries, but allow them to make decisions and also suffer consequences for that, because the world works like that. But if you don't allow them to make decisions and stick to those decisions, you're not raising a fully baked adult. And that's the time unakuta someone is even married in their own home and nini, but they still go home to consult for things. So allow them to make decisions and individuate and separate and be their own people. That is hard, but that is the mark of good parenting, when your people leave you to be their own entities. If you're living with your parents, that's another struggle, because
That's where I'm going.
Parents don't accept that they're aging. It's a very scary thing. How many of you right now have realized you're 10 years old and you're like, we don't accept aging. We know it's happening, we don't accept it. So parents might be a bit difficult, because now roles are reversed. You are now the adult, they are now the child. And most of the time, they don't want to accept that reality. So speak with them with loving kindness. And sometimes even you have to be firm with them and be like, hii daktari amesema tukunywe hii dawa and tutakunywa. And they'll be like, wewe ni nani uniambie hivyo? But once they realize you're doing it from their best interest, or even sometimes you need a doctor to be like, sasa huyu ndio caregiver wako. Once they accept that role reversal, things should be easier. Hey, but that's a whole conversation for another day.
That's a whole conversation. I can see some parents of mine, I say, yeah. Okay. But I'm going to be very clever with the next thing I'm going to do. Okay. And because I've been moderating these sessions for quite a while, I know everyone is going to say, Sam, you did a trick on us, but it's intentional, and so we need to practice what we are learning. You guys do it for your marketing classes, so we're going to do the same. Okay. So I'm going to hold on to Lynette, and I'm going to ask her to switch off her video, and she's going to stay with us till the end of the session, which is like in 20 minutes. And then you'll get the breathing exercise. Okay. Yes, I know I kind of took you to that. But yes, so Lynette is still with us. And for those who joined late, she's been delivering an amazing session on mental health and well-being, especially for the home. Quick reminder, so this is the topic for today, the power of family wellness for entrepreneurial success. We've had our Q&A, and I want to remind you they run a podcast. So I'm going to allow for a second or so you can get the link for the podcast. Okay, so Lynette is still with us. She has to give us the breathing exercise before we close today. But there's a link that is right here. So let me see. Yes, I think it's right here. There you go. So you can join the podcast that she runs with her friends and follow the conversation. Similar, very not overly learned, but yet at the same time so profound, because all of them are very learned people, but they present the information in such a conversational way that it helps us to put it into practice. So click on the link and you'll get to the podcast. And this is what the podcast looks like. For now, though, we will give you Lynette's contacts and also that exercise in the end. For now, though, I want to turn it over to Cope and give about 10 minutes or so that we don't miss out on what Cope Bank has prepared for us as well. And at the end of that, we'll have Lynette back, and she'll give us some parting shots, but also that breathing exercise that helps us to anchor ourselves. All right. Okay, Gordon, I'm going to invite you. Gordon Mushuma is our relationship manager, Bank Assurance. Gordon, are you here? Please switch on your video and let's get into your section. Gordon.
Thank you so much, Sam. I'm in. I don't know if I'm audible.
Very audible, sir. I can hear you.
Thank you so much. I think today has been a very good and wonderful session. Personally, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much, Lynette, for taking us through the family wellness, being mindful, a lot of learning lessons for us who are parents and also for our customers. My biggest take home was you need to give your family the best. So thank you so much, Sam and the MI team. Today's session has been really, really wonderful, and we've really enjoyed from COP side. So I'll go directly to our presentation for the day. Today, last week, as a bank, we were talking about our medical insurance package, which we offer to our customer. And today we will be talking about a different product, which is very, very important to family and also to our customers who have children. Today we'll be talking about what the bank is doing, providing an educational policy in conjunction with one of our good partners, that is CIC Insurance Package. From the slide, you can see the bank is deep into insurance. We are trying to provide all the necessary solutions available for MSME, where we are saying we are able to protect your business, you are able to protect your assets. We are able to protect also your employees. We are able to protect you as a person. We are also able to help you into investment if you want to keep some few coins for yourself in future. The bank is able to provide a policy for you to be able to save. And today I'll be talking about now number 6, which is a part of the life cover. I'll be talking about our educational policy called Somanacop. So that will be the topic of today to our dear customers, for them to know that you can plan for the education of your child. I was just reading a newspaper article today, and there was an article which was saying that in the last 15 years, the cost of university education for 3 major courses, that is law, engineering, and medicine, has tripled in the last 15 years. And as I was reading that, I just felt the pain that is in the parents' side, because you have to provide, everyone wants to provide quality education for their children. And with that also, it comes with a cost. That's why as a bank, we sat down with one of our strategic partners, our CIC Insurance Group, and crafted an educational policy to be able to help you as an entrepreneur, as an MSME client, to be able to save for the future education of your child. We can just go straight to the slide. So what we are saying is we as a bank, we have an educational policy. This educational policy in insurance are what are classified as endowment policy. When you talk about an endowment policy, you are talking about a policy that allows you to invest, and at the same time, it's offering protection. So that, yes, I know as a bank, we are offering savings accounts and different accounts that enable you to save. But now on the insurance side, we are offering that a savings plan, and also now offering what is called protection, because we want to protect you, that in case you start saving today and something happens to you, then your dependents or your children will be able to benefit in future. This is the product itself. This is our product, where we are saying that we are going to
Gordon, we can hear you. Hello, Gordon.
sorry for that network hitch. Where we are saying that our minimum entry age, if you want to sign up for this educational policy, our minimum entry age is 18 and our maximum entry age is 60. So if you want to sign up for this educational policy as a parent, you need to be between 18 and the maximum age is 60. The policy term for this policy is 9 years. We are allowing the parent to save for 5 years. For 5 years, you'll choose an amount that you are comfortable with. You may choose maybe our minimum is currently we are doing a minimum of 2,000. So you may choose to have a minimum of 5,000 that you'll be saving monthly for 5 years. Then after 5 years, you'll be able to receive 4 payouts, as we will see in the next slide. So it's a very, very flexible payment plan, as you can see. During the payment period, we are saying that when you save with us, after the 5 years, which is the minimum, but you can choose, because most of the time, educational policies are customized according to the age of a child. When you come to us, we'll be able to ask some few questions, maybe how old is your child? And when do you intend to use this money? Because parents have different needs in terms of education. There are some who are comfortable paying for their primary education, and they'll want a policy that will only pay for secondary education. There is a parent who is comfortable with both primary and secondary, and they'll need this policy to pay for tertiary education, that is university or college. So when you come to us and we're able to get that information, we'll be able to tailor this policy according to your need. But what we are saying that this policy will usually pay the last 4 years of the policy. And we are saying, as you can see, you can just return to the maturity payouts, that slide on maturity payouts. We are saying that the first year, that is on maturity, we will be able to give you 15% of your sum assured. So if you are saving towards maybe $1 million, we are saying we are going to give you, that is 150,000 plus the accrued bonuses. The second year, again, we will be able to give you 150,000 plus the accrued bonuses. The third year accrued that is 15% of $1 million, that is 150,000 plus accrued bonuses. The last year, you'll be able to get your 15%. And again, you'll be able to receive another payout the same year of 45. 45% is like it's 450. 45% of $1 million is 450. So total payouts, you'll get a guaranteed payout of 105%. The good thing about life insurance, as you compare, maybe you may be thinking, can I just get this money and put in a savings account monthly? But now we are looking at the risk bits, that today you are here as a parent, but tomorrow your child may fail to go to school because you're not there, because there is a lot of, as we had in our first session, there is a lot of uncertainty in life. And that's why we need, as parents, we have been told to give our family the best. Because today you are here, your child is going to a very good school, because you as a parent, you are able to finance. But take a scenario that you are not there. Then you expect other people now to take care of the education of your child. Truth be told, even if it's your brother or your sister, they'll not be able to give your child the same level of, or the same quality of education that you will have provided as a parent. And that's why we are saying for you, it's now very, very important for you as a parent to come to us, to visit any of our branches, any of our 80 branches, and buy an educational policy for your child. Because with that, you'll be sure that even if I'm not there as a parent or something happens to me as a parent, then Cooperative Bank, through its partnership with CIC, will be able to provide that school fees that is needed by your child to get that quality education. So I'll just go to some of the benefits. In life insurance, one of the benefits that separates it from other savings plans is what we call premium waiver. And premium waiver, we are saying that in case you had signed up for a policy with us as a customer, and maybe after 3 months, you get an accident, you are permanently disabled. We are saying that the insurance company will take the obligation of paying your monthly premiums until maturity of your policy. So the first thing they'll offer is called waiver of premiums, where if it was 5,000 every month, that will be now the obligation of the insurance company. The policy will run as normal, and at the end of the policy period, your dependents will be able to get that money you are saving. If it was your goal was $1 million, at the end of at maturity, your dependents will be able to get $1 million. The other thing we are saying is guaranteed returns. Most of us know we put money into very many savings schemes, and there is no guarantee that you're going to get your money back the way you have invested. Some of the places we invest our money, sometimes you even get a lower return than what you invested. But for us, we are saying our policy has a guaranteed return. So your money, the money you invest in this policy, you have a guarantee that you'll receive your money plus an extra 2.5% of the sum, 2.5%. The other thing we are saying is just a peace of mind. As an entrepreneur, as a business person, I think it's in our best interest to know that every day as I wake up, my family is taken care of. My children will go to a good school, even if I'm not there the next day. So that peace of mind is what we are selling in this policy. That in case you have only saved for 3 months, you are guaranteed that your dependents will get you'll get the full sum assured at maturity, even if you're not there. So if it was a policy to take them maybe to university, at that point, even if you're not there, you are guaranteed that your family or your child will go to school. The other bit we are talking about to our entrepreneurs is a tax relief, a tax benefit. Most of us, we complain, and I know right now it's the discussion nationally about taxes that are being affected by the government. One of the easiest way to reduce your tax obligation is buying a life insurance cover, because with a life insurance cover, automatically you are guaranteed a 15% tax relief. So as an entrepreneur, as your accountant will be filing your tax returns, they'll be able to factor this, and you'll be able to get a 15% tax relief, a maximum of 5,000 monthly. So life insurance is also able to help you as an entrepreneur reduce on your tax obligation. The other bit is it's flexible payment plans. You may choose, I want to be saving 5,000 monthly. There's another person who is comfortable saving every quarterly. And there's also another person who is also comfortable saving maybe semi-annually or annually. So you'll come to us and we'll be able to craft a plan for you. The other benefits, what we call riders, can go to the next slider as I wind up. The other benefits of this policy is what we call now the optional riders. These are riders now, these are optional benefits that you'll have to pay for them. The first one is a waiver of premium, critical illness. We are saying as Cooperative Bank, in partnership with our preferred insurance company, CIC, that in case you sign up for this policy and you are diagnosed with any critical illness, that may be heart disease, that may be stroke. In case you are diagnosed of any of these diseases and you have paid for waiver of premium, automatically will tell you to stop paying your monthly premium. If you're paying 5,000, we'll stop it there. Then the policy will run as normal and your dependents will be able to get the benefits at maturity. The other benefit is critical illness benefit, where we are saying immediately you are diagnosed of any critical illness, we will be able to give you a 50% of your sum assured. That's if you are saving towards $1 million, immediately you are diagnosed of a critical illness, that is heart disease, stroke, cancer, renal failure, or coronary heart surgery. If you're supposed to undergo a coronary heart surgery, we are saying as a bank that we'll be able to give you 50%. So if you're saving towards $1 million, immediately we'll be able to give you $500,000, because we know at that point you are in need of medication and it comes with a cost, and we'll be able to take care of it with that money we are giving you, that 50%. And your policy will run as normal. At the end of the policy, your beneficiary will be able to get the full sum assured to take them to school. We can go to the other, the last benefits. The other benefit we are saying is accidental death. In case you sign up for this policy and God forbid, sometimes it happens, you lose your life through an accident, immediately we are going to give 100% of your sum assured. If you're saving towards $1 million, immediately we'll be able to give you we'll be able to give $1 million to your dependents, and the policy will run as normal. At the end of the policy, your dependents will be able to get your full sum assured. Even if it was $1 million, they'll be able to get that $1 million at the end of your policy. That is at maturity. The other one is personal accident. In case of personal accident, you can see from the list, there are a couple of benefits we are able to give you. And to some of them will go directly to your dependents to be able to take care of some of the costs at that time, and also to be able to take care of the education at the end of the policy. These are very good policy. These are very, very good plan. It's a well thought out plan that we have we developed to cater for our customers. I will kindly ask our beloved customers, you can visit any of our Coop Bank branches to be able to buy this policy, and it will be able to give you that peace of mind as you continue with your trade daily as an MSME. You have that peace of mind that you have provided the best for your family. I think the theme today, I think Lynette has taught us a lot of things, that sometimes we give the world more than we give our families. So today, as you think about your children, as you see them daily going to school, kindly note that there is a day you'll not be there, and they'll not be able to go to that good school. But as a bank, we are saying that that also can be taken care of. Visit any of our branches, buy an educational policy, and be able to care for your family in the times that you'll not be there. So we really, really appreciate. We continue the discussion, and thank you so much, moderator. And I'll beg to stop there.
Okay, Gordon, I have maybe two quick questions. Jane Mutu is asking, if you don't have the kids yet, can you get the education policy? Do you have a quick answer for Jane?
Jane, what we are saying as a bank is we have a solution. If you don't have kids, and I know you want to save for your future, we have what is called Coop Investment Plan, and you can be able to pop into any of our branches, and you'll be able to do a plan for you, which will be more of an investment plan.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I think that's the main question also Davis was asking. So thank you so much, Gordon. If you'd like to reach out to Gordon Mushuma, he's the relationship manager, Bank Assurance, Coop Bank of Kenya. His contacts are on the screen, so email and also phone number. Thank you so much, Gordon. We definitely appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Okay, now I know there's pressure. We are looking for that wellness breathing exercise that Lynette promised us. So before we get to that, just allow me to highlight for you. So if you would like to know where to access these sessions that we've just had, we are obviously going to go over for a few minutes, but I wanted to highlight some of us here are not sure how we can get these sessions. These sessions are on the Coop website. So I want to encourage you to just visit your Google. Just if you type in directly into your Google, all right, it should take you directly to the Coop website. And what you do when you get to the website, you'll have a link in the chat shortly. Just go to the website, and all you have to do is go to the Knowledge Hub, click on webinars. So Knowledge Hub, then webinars, and you'll find all the sessions of the last couple of months that we've been having. And Lynette's session as well will be added to these, Lynette's session on wellness, okay? So all for this month in the last couple of months, okay? So that's something I wanted to highlight for you. Okay, so let me come back to Lynette. Lynette, please help us. We are looking for this exercise. How do you re-anchor? For those of us who need a recap, let me go through that. Some really insightful things that I just want to pick up on. You said when it comes to children, it's important that we recognize we're in a good space. The children trust us. So what we need to do is to constantly remind them that we love and care for them, not meaning we don't discipline them. Even when we discipline them, that love and care is not conditional. Okay, we still love them. When it comes to teens, teens are big on trust. If you don't give them ground to trust you, they will not trust you. You're stuck. But if you give them opportunity to trust you, how you break that is if you break your word. If you promise you're going to do something, but you don't do it, that is not good for you. So keep your word. And also the trick of introduce other influences, other positive influences into their world. When it comes to adults, if you're leading adults, if you're adults are depending on you, remember they are adults, allow them to make decisions. So you can't police them around. Allow them to make decisions and then also to carry the consequences. I guess this is the point where you may also decide whether they are ready to live on their own and so on. But that's a discussion you also have to have. And then when you're handling our parents or more elderly folk, typically they don't accept that they are aging. I mean, who wants to accept they're aging? Even us who are here. When someone says 1993 was 30 years ago, we say, no, it's a lie. We reject it, we rebuke it, but we are all aging in a way. So how do we treat our parents? Speak to them with loving kindness. And of course, I guess don't treat them like children because they're your parents. Okay, so that's a quick recap where we had stopped, and there's so much ground that was covered. Lynette, welcome back. Tell us a little bit about this podcast, and then we'll be closing in the next few minutes with this exercise to anchor us.
Okay, thank you so much for that recap. Let me just start by saying that the mindfulness exercise is not a magic pill that now we'll do it and wow, all the problems will float away. It will not work.
I'm telling
like
you,
that.
We are all here waiting for this magic bullet.
Oh my God! But
now you're telling us it's not going to work.
I'm managing expectations. Okay, so one of the places you can find us, we have a podcast. So the reason we started this podcast is free. If you like it, share with everyone. So basically, we talk about psychological concepts that maybe people might not be aware of, but we talk about it in a very chill, just the way we've talked about today, like very chill, very normal conversations. Like right now, we are talking about birth order. If you go, we've done like 46 episodes. So like now, if you go, our latest episode, which dropped today, we do episodes every Thursday. It's called Therapeutic Thursday. So we're talking about birth order. When you're the firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, lastborn, does that affect your personality and how you interact with the world? Interesting conversation. Go listen. So if you have questions and maybe you didn't get them answered, one of the things you can do is you can go to our therapeutic page, either on Instagram, write us an email, you'll see a number, you can write us a question, even better, do us a voicemail or DM us a voice note and ask your question. And what we usually do is we incorporate it into the episode and answer the question so that you don't get the knowledge alone. We can share it with other people because I'm sure what you're going through, so many other people are going through it. So those are our platforms for now. I am also a therapist. I am usually very fully booked. So if you come to me, like my May is fully booked. So let's engage from there and see where we can work. Yeah. So that's basically it. Now let's get into the mindfulness exercise so that we can
also just wanted to highlight. What's the range of therapy ground that you cover? I noticed that lots of people have families. We spend, like you said, we spend all our time studying about our business. We may not know what to do with how we want to, but we don't know. We need people like you. And we reach out to you to help us evaluate where we are with our families. If we need training on how to speak to have some wellness conversations, is that something that you can offer? Can we call this number?
Yes, you can call this number. We can have more conversations on that. Now, the thing is, for me, I work, as I said, I love working with teenagers. I love working with women. And I deal with that a lot. I also deal with men, but men, we know atujilitangi therapy willingly. Usually munaletwa as a couple when the wife has insisted. I also have a tool of therapists. A network of therapists I work with. Like I know children therapists who work with people below the age of 12. I personally don't work with children below 12.
Your sweet spot is teenage.
My sweet spot is teenage up to emerging adults. Emerging adults is up to around 24, but I work up to even with adults. So if you reach out to me, for example, I don't deal with addiction. So if you come and tell me, oh, there's someone, this is an addict, Nini, I'd be like, let me refer you to someone because I personally don't deal with that. So if I know most people, especially in Kenya, mental health is a myth. You don't know where to start. You don't know you can reach out. I can help where I can, send you to referrals and all those things. That should not be an issue. Yes.
Okay, good. So that brings us to the final bit. You promised us a magic bullet, and we are here. Anyway,
Yes.
let me to carry it a bit. We are closing here, and this is the second last thing we'll do. We give our best energy to the world and work. When we get home, we give the remainder and the crumbs, and that's not fair to the family because family is more important to us. At least that's what we say. So Lynette is introducing the idea that when you're transitioning from work, coming back home, perhaps, it's important to take 2-3 minutes to breathe and re-anchor yourself. And here's the exercise that can help us to do that. Lynette, over to you.
Yes. Let me also say that if you go to our podcast and I'm trying to look for the specific episode, there's an episode we've called breathing in and mindfulness. You can do this more because other people are like, we actually have episode 11 and 12 is on mindfulness. So just when you think, oh, I don't remember what she does, go check out our episodes. They're really nice. Forward. Last thing I'll say before the exercise.
The link is in the chat as well.
Yes. Also, soon we are going to be doing a study on anxiety. If you're interested in partnering with us, maybe with your staff, with your family, it will be online. So if you're interested in, maybe you're feeling anxious and you know people who are anxious, you've never been diagnosed, you don't know how to deal with anxiety, very soon that will be happening. So reach out to us if you want to be part of the study and we'll do that. Okay, over to it. Suspense imeua watu. Hi, I hope you're still alive. So this is what we do. Get into a comfortable position. So wherever you're seated, sit up, don't lie back, don't nini. So sit up. Your shoulders, if they're hunched, relax your shoulders. If you can lift them up to your maschio and relax them, fantastic. Then your legs, don't cross them. Anchor them flat. Let your feet be planted. Your hands, you can put them on a table or a desk, or you can put them on your thighs. So your posture is upright. Your head, think of it like you have a string pulling the top of your head so that your head is up straight. So posture is important because you're allowing your body to be relaxed. You can't say, I'm being mindful that umekunja sura, your shoulders are here, you're in an aggressive posture. So once you get the posture right, what we're going to do, we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Right? And this is your brain exercise. If you are here when I was showing the video, thoughts will keep jumping. Look at it like you're sitting on the side of the road and watching your thoughts and feelings pass by. So the idea is to sit by the side of the road, not jump into the middle of the road. If you jump into the middle of the road and start thinking, what am I having for lunch? Oh, is that person going to call me back? No, you're chasing after thoughts. That's not the idea. The idea is just to sit and focus on one of 3 areas. No, pair multiple choice. You can choose to either focus on your nose as air is coming in and out. You can choose to focus on your chest as your lungs contract and relax, or you can choose to focus on your diaphragm as air pushes your stomach in or out. So nimepa multiple choice. Choose either your nose, your chest, or your diaphragm. So we're about to start the exercise. You can choose to close your eyes or not, up to you, Sita insists. So we're doing 3 mindful deep breaths, okay? So let's start by taking a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Then gently release it out through your mouth. Second deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Remember your one brain task. Then gently release it out through your mouth. So for the last one, we're taking the biggest deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And then release it out through your mouth as you open your eyes. Sam, how are you feeling?
Very interesting, because then I normally there's like 10 things I'm probably trying to process, but now I'm sort of I don't know how that works, but I ended up just like, okay, so I'm focusing on my chest, going up and down. Okay, we are here. Tuko hapa.
Paying attention in the present on purpose without judgment. Now, the last and key component of this exercise is the non-judgment aspect. So if you noticed your mind thinking, na hiyo lunch inanukia poa, and you saw yourself going down that rabbit hole, the thing is to tell yourself, okay, that's interesting, but let's do this. We're doing this now. Ruti hapa. Because if you shame yourself into it, you spoil the practice. You now are putting yourself in a negative headspace. You go like, and I can't even focus on one thing. And that's not the one. Without judgment, paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. So if you've had a long day, this is also a way of calming our nervous system. Remember I said when we fixate on the past, we tend to have depressive tendencies. So we're feeling sad, helpless, nini. If you're fixated on the future, you're feeling anxious,
anxiety,
helpless, nini. So before you enter the door, and you can do this all the time, before an interview, before whatever, and you can do, if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but you can do it with your eyes open. But the whole point is you're telling your nervous system, because if, for example, it's anxiety, your brain goes like, we're dying. It's life and death. And so you start hyperventilating. You start, this is a way of telling your brain, we're okay. You're safe. In this moment, everything is chill. You're okay. So imagine, even if you've had a heavy day, when you anchor yourself in this point, even when your child hugs you, sasa, imagine you feel it more because you're there. You're here. You're not in the office. You're not tomorrow. You're here.
So this sounds like a very useful thing to do, especially with transition. Sometimes I feel like before we jump into another Zoom meeting, sometimes you fall into a meeting or you find yourself, I'm like, what are we doing? What's this meeting about? And then you're all over the place. But taking 1 minute to just kind of, okay, so where are we now? Okay, we're here. Oh, okay, good. Let's have this meeting. Let's have this date. Let's have dinner. Is this the intention?
Correct, because most of us are caught up in the productivity trap. So if we're always thinking that our mind must be doing a lot, we miss what's happening now. Imagine now, let me give you a good example and finish it. Like joy is vulnerable. We don't think about that, but joy is vulnerable. So imagine you're having a long day, you're thirsty, and then you have a full glass of joy, right? But when you start, just before you drink that joy, you start shaking it. Unamwaga your hand is trembling. So you're shake, umemwaga your joy. So by the time you're sipping it, you're sipping a quarter of it. You've squandered that joy saying, who am I to deserve this? When is the worst thing going to happen? This is too good to be true. When you've squandered that joy, so by the time you drink it, it doesn't satisfy your thirst. So being present is allowing your full senses, your mind, your brain, everything to be in this moment so that you can have that tall glass of water and it can quench your thirst. And this, if you remember, the places you're mindful and present, in your memory, when you go back, those are the things you can remember. That day, it was so nice. I remember the sun was out, the birds were chirping, the nini, I noticed the eyebrows of my partner and nini because you are fully present. But usually we don't. You're thinking, ile business, ile nini. Clearly I can talk forever, so let me keep quiet. Thank you.
No, I would say clearly you're passionate about the subject, and I think we have come to agree that your thing is creating safe spaces so people can be their most authentic selves, and that's your why. And we have definitely seen it, so we appreciate you, Lynette. Everyone, please, a round of applause for Lynette. A round of applause. We have come to the end of our session. Thank you so much, Lynette. Very beautiful session. Lots of applause. We've gone over time. I will take full responsibility for that. But we want to say thank you for this beautiful session. It's been very helpful, very inspirational, and very helpful. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again, the contacts are on the screen, so you can go ahead and reach out to Lynette. The number and the email, you can also check out their podcast. You're more than welcome to enjoy that. Okay. Now, we've come to the end. We've already finished the other things. So if you want to reach out to us as AMI in terms of finding out how we can make these sessions better and things like that, reach out to Fiona. fiona@africanmanagers.org, and that's the number. And then lastly is to say thank you for being here. Lynette, can I ask you for one more thing? Please unmute your mic. I know your wife, father, Christian, all these things. Please pray for us, and then we'll close the session. How is that?
No problem. Let's pray. Everlasting Father, we thank you for this opportunity you have given us to just share information, share ideas, have honest conversations, and hopefully grow and learn. Teach us also how to anchor ourselves in the present, because this is the gift you have given us in the here and now. In whatever we do, let us know that the goal is progress, not perfection. So every step we're making towards making ourselves better, we are going in the right direction. Bless our businesses, our families, and help us live up to our own, to the potential you have put us here for. And in everything we do, all glory and honor be unto you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Man, thank you, Lynette. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been an honor to host this one more time, and we wish you all the best. Goodbye and God bless.